Today on Drop a Pin, Chaps just got back from Medellin, and we're going to hear all about the trip.
Thank you for having me, folks.
In the 1980s to probably a good chunk of the 90s, definitely a top 5 most dangerous country on earth.
Would you say that's probably the most that we heard about violence in areas because of the Reagan war on drugs?
And then even people that don't really aren't interested in travel or geography, they've all heard of Medellin, probably from the show Entourage. And so everyone when you think of Medellin, you think of cartels, cocaine trafficking, Pablo Escobar.
My mom was terrified.
Yeah, so even when you mentioned Budapest, she was nervous about that. She was like, they used to be communist.
Yeah, she was very nervous about Colombia. She was like, have you ever heard the news about Colombia? You know what happens down there in Colombia, don't you, Matthew? All right, we're back for another edition of a little bit of a pop quiz before we hop into the full podcast. Sam, what's the question today?
The question today is name the top 10 countries with the most biodiversity.
All right.
Okay.
So obviously the subject of the show is Colombia, which comes in at number 1.
Yep, and I'm going to say Ecuador as well. Is that on the list?
First, Colombia comes in on the list, but not number 1. Colombia is actually number 4, and Ecuador is number 9.
Okay. So then Brazil.
Brazil's number 1.
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica, not in the top 10.
Wow.
What about the Congo? Big rainforest there, too.
The Congo is not in the top 10.
All right.
Okay. What about my friends in Gabon?
No.
No. Wow.
Gabon.
No Gabon.
Let's go, should we go USA just for a little hometown pride?
Sure, but I don't think so. But yeah, we'll go with USA.
Number 10 is the USA.
Really? Okay. What about our friends in Indonesia?
Indonesia is number 2.
There we go.
We still haven't got number 1, though, right?
Brazil.
Oh, okay. Brazil was number 1. Indonesia. The Philippines?
The Philippines does not crack the top 10.
Okay.
India.
Number 8 is India.
All right.
Big country.
I mean, just based on land size, do you think China?
I mean, China's the only country that has pandas, but...
Oh, Australia.
Australia is number 7.
Okay. Yep, they got some weird animals there. I mean, China's big, but I don't know. They've gotten rid of a lot of their forests, which is definitely going to hurt biodiversity. But I mean, sure, I guess we can throw it out.
China.
China is number 3.
Oh, wow.
Shout out China.
So which ones don't we have?
They also have a red panda in China, too.
They do.
You guys are missing number 5 and 6.
Okay, 5 and 6. I'm going to go... Let's go with... Let's see. Botswana? Damn.
Decent guess, though. They got the Okavango Delta.
Oh, Mexico has a ton of birds.
Mexico is number 6.
There we go.
Let's go. Yeah, maybe
one
think
more.
birds. Should we ask for a continent or just keep on guessing?
I mean, I think there's so many around South America. Maybe Bolivia?
Bolivia is not in the top 10. Bolivia is number 14, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. But
Yeah, let's do continent.
yeah, because South America, Central America, it seems like.
It is in South America.
South America.
Okay,
so
what about Argentina?
Peru?
Chaps got it right. Peru is the last
Oh,
country.
There we go. We got all 10.
yeah, pretty. I mean, none of those are too surprising, except for China. Hey,
Yeah.
shout out. I mean, I didn't give China its due, so I thought they had eaten most of their animals, but that is not the case. I can say that because I lived in China.
Yeah, he's
For
carte
8
blanche.
years.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want. Yeah.
Yep. I didn't see a lot of wildlife. I should have explored more. Let's get into the pod. Hey, how are you? Welcome back to Drop a Pin. Chaps just got back from Medellin, so we're going to be focused on that specific city in Colombia for most of the episode. I'm excited to hear how your trip went. We can compare and contrast experiences because it's the first spot abroad that I guess we both had separate experiences besides Iraq. I guess. Yeah.
Both of us, I think, had good experiences here, unlike Iraq. You had good experiences there, mine not so much.
Oh, yeah. But you did have a good time in Medellin.
Yes. I'll preface by saying, yes, I had a great time in Medellin.
Okay. I would love to get into it, but first, let's do a little pre-boarding.
Okay.
I do need to shout out a holiday, which I'm going to make a point to go maybe sometime in the next 5 years. King's Day in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
I got a friend who lives in Amsterdam, so I saw them at this event last year, and then it just happened again, so all these videos are popping up on my feed. It looks like the most fun party ever.
It looks like Orange Mardi Gras.
Yeah. So it happens. It's orange because the Netherlands, their king, it comes from the House of Orange. And King's Day celebrates the king's birthday, I believe, which is April 27th. When they have a queen, it's called Queen's Day. But it especially looks fun in Amsterdam because Amsterdam, like Venice, filled with canals. So everybody hits the canals on these tiny little party boats. I asked my friend for more details about it. She also said that all of the kids meet up in parks around the city and barter and trade toys.
I love it.
That sounds like a lot of fun for a young kid.
I mean, when you're little, there was nothing like that. I mean, I didn't have that experience of bartering back and forth, but I did live in base housing. And one of my favorite things, because people move every 3 years, whenever there'd be a moving truck that would leave, I would go dumpster diving and looking for other kids' old toys.
I love how one of your happiest memories from childhood is just digging through a dumpster.
It was, man.
Looking for old toys.
It was the best because, you're a kid and you're getting ready to move. You're getting rid of toys that you don't play with all the time, but that doesn't mean they're bad.
No, it just means you've gotten tired of them. And one man's trash is another man's treasure.
I found a tennis racket in there one time. It was sick. Oh, one of my favorite toys ever I found in the dumpster. It was Back to the Future skateboard.
Cool. Also, when you're a kid, just trash is cool too. I had a metal collection. I used to have a metal collection. It would just be spare metal I find on the ground.
Yep.
Just screws. And I think my mom kept it for a long time. She was she showed it to me a couple of years ago.
She still has your metal
Yeah,
collection?
it was just a bunch of spare rusty metal that I probably could have gotten tetanus from.
I mean, just construction sites in general are a good time when you're a kid. I mean, so much of my fun that I had when I lived in Patuxent Bay, Maryland, was definitely due to a trash can. There was a construction site that they would put. Remember, I don't know if they still make insulation from fiberglass, that goes into attics and stuff, but they used to back in the day. And they had these sheets that they would line the roofs with in Maryland to make it more insulated.
Yep.
But it was also really slick. So I would put that on the slide and go down the slide. I ended up having to go to the ER to get fiberglass shards taken out of my legs, but it was still a great time.
Yeah, as long as they weren't using asbestos. That's the bad stuff that they're trying to get rid of.
Yep.
But King's Day, April 27th, every year in Amsterdam, or just the entire country of the Netherlands. They also said that every canal corner will have a different DJ booth just playing tunes. Balconies or stages, so everybody will just put a performance on their private balcony. It looks awesome. That's going to be your next trip abroad?
Yeah, my wife actually sent me videos from TikTok on King's Day and was like, I'm so glad that we're not there for that. That is not our vibe.
No.
No, a family vacation with a third. I mean, I guess my kids are old enough now.
It doesn't seem like it's St. Patty's Day in Boston, though, where everyone's blackout drunk and there's fist fights everywhere. It seems pretty civil.
I bet they're passed out drunk everywhere. Amsterdam,
Definitely,
I mean, if I know from watching their World Cup matches, I am really disappointed in that. We come back 2 days before Amsterdam's first World Cup match. I would have loved to have been there for that. That would have been amazing.
Yeah,
because they're playing Japan. That's where my older daughter was born.
That would have been a great match to watch.
Yeah.
I'll be in Europe for the semifinals, but Italy didn't qualify, so it's not really going to matter to me at all.
But
that's
if
where I'll be.
Iran decides not to come, they're the next man up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so if Iran decides that they're not going to bring, because they can't bring a lot of their people over with them, if they can't do that, then they've talked about backing out of the World Cup, and Italy is the next qualifying team.
Wow. And didn't in the last World Cup, like some of the Iranian soccer players on the world stage talk shit about their government, and then a few of them were either jailed or
I think they were
killed when
killed.
they got back.
Yeah.
I mean, that is like fucked. It's like,
And then
do they
some
even have people that
defected
wanna
too,
play
right? I think some of them. There are some people.
Hopefully.
some countries had defections in the last World Cup, which is pretty common for international competition.
yeah. Do you know if they're in USA's group? I think there's like a chance they are. That'd be insane if we got a USA-Iran game.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to get a USA-Turkey game, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yep. Shout out Baldstool. Yeah, so I'll be in Venice, and like the more I think about it, I'm like, I don't know how vacation like that trip is going to be for me. Because
baby.
we're bringing the baby, and I feel like Venice has to be one of the least baby-friendly cities in Europe.
Especially for a brand new walker, yeah.
Yeah, it's all bridges, all stairs, and then just water everywhere. But my wife's friend is getting married outside of Venice. I get to travel a lot for work. My wife does not. So if she wants to go to Venice for this wedding, we're going to Venice.
Yeah, that's a good lesson. I feel like in this job, we get to do cool stuff all the time. And like our wives kind of watch from the sidelines a lot of us go put, like I just got back from Colombia. I've been to Hungary like this year. And she's just grinding on spreadsheets and writing grants for her job. And then remember when we had All American Rejects come to the office?
Yes.
So she is like a huge All American Rejects head. And PFT had told me that they might not go on till like 11 or 11:30, and I was like, I'm not interested in doing that. So I didn't even say anything about the concert. And she saw it pop up on Instagram, and she was like, what in the fuck is this? And she was like, I could have gone and watched one of my favorite bands. And I felt so unbelievably guilty about it. She was like, I just sit in my office alone at home all day working, and you get to hang out with cool people, do cool shit. You're so selfish about that. And I was like, you are right.
Yeah.
And so now
you got to at least tell her.
If she says anything, like now, like Dashboard Confessional came last summer, she's like, oh, Dashboard's here. Boom, bought tickets, like instantly. So when we have the opportunity to do stuff with our wives that is cool, you absolutely have to do it.
100%. Now, a little word of advice when you're in Amsterdam with the family. I was shocked that their red light district is just like right next to a very touristy street. It's not like you got to like wander down a dark alley and find the red light district. So like just be cognizant, because it's not like a normal red light district where things are happening behind closed doors. There's just all of these storefronts that have a giant glass window, and then there's like just girls in the windows.
Naked?
Not completely naked. Not completely. They're just very scantily clad, wearing.
Dicks out?
They don't have dicks. There's
Anybody with dick?
no dicks. It's only women in panties
Okay.
and bikinis. And they'll just be like, you know, trying to like wave you in and stuff. And like I did see walking down that street, there were families also walking down that street. I think that's just kind of commonplace for them.
Yeah, I don't know if we'd be prudish about it. I think, I mean, obviously my older daughter's almost, she'll be 21 that same month, so I don't give a shit
I
what
think she can
does.
handle,
Yeah, she can handle that.
someone in panties.
And then the little one's 13, so like he's at that age too, where it's like, not that I would encourage it, but I wouldn't be like, oh God, you saw somebody dancing.
Yeah,
in a
this
bikini.
is gonna ruin your childhood.
Yeah, it's like you're almost in 8th grade. You have the internet on your phone.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, but no, I think that will be a great place to go with the family, and you don't got to worry about your kids falling in the canals.
Yeah. How is getting dinners and stuff there? I've heard reservations are extremely important in Amsterdam.
I don't know. I was in Amsterdam for 24 hours or less.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm not too sure about that. When I am in Venice, I'm excited. The moment I left Venice, because we lived there for like a year, someone who does lagoon tours and checks out the islands hit me up and was like, I follow your YouTube. Anytime you want to go out, hit me up. And I was like, I just left, but I've gotten back in contact with them. So I'll try to do some like lagoon exploration, because Venice is in this big lagoon. It's not the only island. They've got other islands too. One that's famous for their blown glass. One that's famous for the most colorful homes you've ever seen, just rows and rows of these crazy colorful homes.
The Lego there's that Lego place that the houses look like they're made out of Legos.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that looks really cool. And then I want to go swimming at The Hague.
You can swim at the Hague?
Yeah, there's like a beach front at the Hague. So, because that's where like their monarchs live.
Yeah.
Is in the Hague. So I want to go over to that area, and 'cause
Okay.
that's the first thing McCartney's been asking. Like, is there going to be a place to swim? And I'm like, I think there's a couple places to swim. But
Yeah, and there are people that swim in the canals, but I've heard mixed reviews. Like I think
yeah,
some canals are
they have like some
clean-
parts that are good and not.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out the Hague. I think it's very cool that it's like a city that has a the. I can't think
Yeah.
of a lot of other thes.
It's interesting because it's the Hague and the Netherlands.
Yeah. And then the Netherlands are also Holland, right?
Yeah.
And then if you're from the Netherlands, you are Dutch. I sometimes say Danish accidentally.
Yeah, I get that fucked up too.
Ooh, yeah, this is
That's a good trivia question. Take that away. We don't want to see it. You can ask that us. We can try to figure that out.
Oh, well, yeah, it was.
on a
Are there any
geography
other
game.
plays with the? No, I would like to know.
Okay,
though.
yeah, well, let's do it then.
Let's just see if there are any other cities
Yeah.
that start with a the. The Villages, Florida.
Oh, the Woodlands, yeah.
You've heard of the Woodlands because you used to live in Texas.
Yeah, it's
What are
kind
the
of right
Woodlands?
out. It's kind of a persnickety little neighborhood that's outside, kind of by Texas A&M.
And then the Villages is just a giant retirement compound where STDs have been running rampant.
The highest STD rate in the United States is at the Villages. Mm-hmm. They are absolutely,
Yeah.
they're basically like the koala bears of the United States, just riddled with chlamydia down there.
Yeah. The elderly are still fucking. And then to come to think, like some people are like, ew, I don't want to think about that. I think as you get old, it takes long enough to that it's like if you're 80 and you're having sex with another 80-year-old, you probably don't like see it as gross because you're like, I'm gross too. It's like,
Yeah, dude.
We're both old as fuck. We can still, yeah.
Yeah, you're getting, I mean, and the idea of getting gummed down is pretty cool.
It sure is. Yes, it is.
Everybody has stuff to look forward to.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're getting to the point where, and once you're past 75, there is no such thing as a condom, my friend.
True.
I'm just letting it ride.
You don't got to worry about that at all. Yeah, I guess the Villages have gigolos, and they'll be like a 65-year-old gigolo, but like when you're 80 years old, hooking up with a 65-year-old man has to be pretty appealing.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
point.
a young
I want to
gun.
have, when I'm that old too, I want to have like super tan, dark tits. I want to be like leather.
You want to be like Portnoy?
No,
Okay.
darker.
Darker than Portnoy.
I want to be like the guy on that the Diamond movie with Adam Sandler.
Yes, I know who you're talking about, but yeah, the movie Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
That's what my first time I went to South Beach in Miami, I was like, I'm going to see the hottest chicks on the beach. It's going to be sick. It was all just leathery old people.
Yeah,
Not the most attractive bunch.
like Hulk Hogan's walking around.
Yeah, exactly. Male and female. But that is something just to lean in. I mean, Dave did get skin cancer.
Yeah.
That is a risk. But that's the thing. It's like I love a good tan, but it's not worth getting cancer for, or just then when you're like 80 years old, you're just a leather mitt.
I've really only been tan like once in my life.
I can't even imagine you with a tan.
It was when I was in seminary. I went to a tanning bed.
Oh, you got a fake tan.
Yeah, I went to a tanning bed. And
What prompted you? You're in seminary, like studying to become a preacher, and you're like, I want to be a fake tan preacher.
Well, I worked at Hollister.
What's Hollister? Is that
like
one of those?
PacSun.
Oh, okay.
And so my job at Hollister while I was in seminary, my job was to stand out in the middle of the mall, like in front of the Hollister store, just wearing a bathing suit.
Okay.
Because I was in good shape and I was wearing that. I had long, like curly hair, and I would stand out there without my shirt on, being super tan, looking like I was a surfer bro. I even had like the sun in tan that Feidelberg will do from time to time, that you spray in your hand to get a little dirty blonde glow.
Yeah.
I'll try to find a picture of my hair this way. And
Yes, you used to have flow. I know you had hair, but you used to have long
yeah.
hair.
Oh yeah, I'll try to find a picture. I looked absolutely stunning, and I was standing outside the Hollister, tan as shit, with like an earring in my top ear, and what my Bible professor for my class on the Book of Isaiah, Dr. Freeman, came by, and he was like, Matthew, if Jesus came back right now, is this where you would want to be, shirtless outside of Hollister? And I was like, you know what? No. This is not where I'd want to be.
To be fair, when
I quit.
Jesus was probably shirtless with a solid tan.
Oh, I mean, a carpenter back in the day in Israel?
Yeah.
Come on.
He was probably extremely tan, and he probably walked around shirtless a lot.
Yeah, I mean, he's a Middle Eastern dude.
Yeah, I don't think he would judge you at all.
No, I don't think so either. Because it wasn't like I was trying to hook up with mad chicks. I even broke up with my girlfriend because she showed me her boobs.
Yes, yep, yeah. We've all heard that story. But you probably weren't hot enough to work at like in Abercrombie and Fitch, right?
Dude, I was pretty hot.
Okay.
I mean, I've gotten progressively uglier over the years. Back in the day, I was a looker, I think.
Did you ever wear contacts? Or
No. I didn't need glasses until I got out of the Marine Corps.
Oh, damn.
So I didn't get glasses until I was probably 30-something, early 30s.
I'm not saying that the glasses have made you uglier or anything.
No, they do. Now they help. They cover up a significant portion of my face.
Yeah.
So it's jarring to me when I look at myself and I'm not wearing glasses.
Would you ever show up one day at work with just a completely clean shaven, no beard, no mustache?
Here?
Yeah. Like, is that something you want to do? Like a nice little reset at some point in your life?
No, because I look horrific without a beard now. Like, I think because I have a little bit of a gobbler chin. I don't have the strong jawline that I used to.
Oh, yeah. I do actually remember when you only had a mustache.
Pull that up. Chaps shaves. It was the meanest that Portnoy and Big Cat have ever been to me. And I shaved during the World Series where the Astros were up like 3-0, and they ended up losing. Yeah, look at this. Oh my God. I just saw the picture. I almost wanted to vomit. My wife begged me never to shave completely ever again. Ugh,
oh, so yeah, you didn't even have a mustache.
No, I look like an
I remember
worm.
seeing you with the.
And that's probably my fattest. That's probably the fattest I was too. I was probably pushing 230, 240 there. So where's the coloration in my lips? My lips and chin are the exact same color.
Oh my God, Chaps.
I mean, everything about my face is disgusting there. Horrible. Yeah. I mean, it's just horrible.
In an office filled with mutants, you're like but I don't know. I don't even know if you're you're definitely not a top 5 mutant in that photo.
I would say that in that picture, I am the definition of a 4.7. Just as average as the day is long, but just a touch under.
I'm trying to think who you look like. You look like a stereotypical
loser.
Yeah, but I feel like there's like a movie they'll always cast like a guy that like looks like you, and they want to just be like make it clear like Hollywood casting this guy's a loser.
Yeah. Yeah, that's me. So I don't think I can shave again. Mustache, I look fine in a mustache.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As long as you don't have the gobbler chin.
Yeah.
You'll be good.
I do, I think.
The only other thing I was going to quickly bring up is that China's now doing these AI clones where you upload photos and sound recordings of your loved one before they pass away. And then they make this little search of AI loved one clone. They give you this little box that's got a photo of them, and you can talk to your loved one who has passed away.
Would you want to do that?
No, absolutely not. Yeah, it looks like that.
Oh, no. Like you're a fucking Tamagotchi or something?
Yeah, they pretty much turn you into a Tamagotchi. That's it's only $3, a $3 companion AI device that generates interactive holograms of deceased loved ones by uploading their photos, voice recordings, and chat histories.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want my chat histories uploaded to the cloud.
No. Look at the dog.
The dog is cool.
I would maybe do it for a dog. I don't.
Have you seen those companies in Japan? I think there's some that are probably here now as well. But let's say your cat dies. You can collect a bunch of your cat's fur, and they'll make a stuffed animal or a embroidery of your cat with your cat's actual hair.
Yes, I have seen that. That's definitely weird. And then you can have your dog just cloned. Some very rich people. I think a famous person did that.
Who was that did
a
it?
celeb, and people are like, dude, that's so fucking weird.
Was it Kurt Herbstreit? Did he do it? Or no, Tom Brady.
Yes, yeah. Because I remember Portnoy was calling him out for that.
Yeah.
Because Portnoy's a big dog guy, and he was like, listen, I'm a dog guy, but this is fucking weird, Tom.
Yeah, it's weird. Because he spent $50,000 on it or something.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you can afford it, you can. But yeah, that's just move on. I feel like that's It's unnatural, and just like cherish your dog's memory. If you want to get the same breed, go ahead, but being like, no, that's the only dog for me. I need the exact same one.
I mean, if I could do it and I had guaranteed same type of results, I would do it for Gus for sure. As he's I've had him for 12 and a half years now. He's 14 years old. I can't imagine life without that guy.
Yeah. I mean, it's like it all comes down to nature versus nurture. Like, yeah, it's going to be the same exact genes. And if you raised Gus since he was like, how old?
Like 6 months.
6 months. So he's going to be raised by the same person. Yeah, there is a good chance the dog would turn out very, very similar to Gus 1.0.
Yeah, but you can never have like those same McCartney laying on him, like developed his personality, being more chill, and all those little things along the way for sure. But I was cleaning out my iCloud yesterday and came across old videos of Gus and Dale. Just the cutest. Like when I first got Dale and he was super tiny and flying around. Going back and watching old stuff is like videos. We're really the first generation that's been able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I did used
to this level.
Before I had an iPhone, once I lost a phone, most of those photos and videos were gone. Now that I have an iPhone that's uploaded to the cloud, and like I'll probably have an iPhone for the next 20 years, it is going to be insane. Like going back into the cloud and looking at like a video I filmed in 2017.
Right.
It's going to be, because you can just access that so easily.
I mean, there's so many that I came across just yesterday because I hadn't been on that account in forever. And I was like, oh my God, dude, I completely forgot about that. There were so many clips from like ZBT that I had totally forgot about that I was coming across of Kate and I together.
Yeah.
Good memories.
Great memories. My dad's parents were like super fast on the technology pickup. Somehow my grandfather's wedding is on videotape.
Really?
And like he would be like 110 now, like 100,
Damn.
108. So yeah, I don't know. That must have been one of the first video cameras like that was ever released.
Yeah.
All right, let's transition into some Medellin talk. This episode of Drop a Pin is brought to you by Shady Rays. All right, guys, quick question. How are my Shady Rays basically the same quality as the $200 sunglasses I used to buy? And I'm not just exaggerating. They feel every bit as premium as the expensive brands I've owned. And I've stopped getting expensive brands because I lose shades way too much. Or I drop them in the ocean. And when that does happen with Shady Rays, they replace them. Knock them off the dock, they replace them. Sit on them day one, they replace them. I go through like 3 pairs of shades a month, so Shady Rays is perfect for me, and they're actually premium polarized lenses that cut glare hard, super clear optics, durable frames with solid hinges, clean classic styles that look sharp without trying too hard, over 300,000 5-star reviews, and millions of people have switched. If you're outside on the water, in the sun, driving every day, you need shades that actually perform. So go to shadyrays.com and grab a pair and get sunglasses with lost and broken protection. And now Drop a Pin has teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com and use code PIN, that's PIN, for 50% off 2 or more polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
Today's show is also brought to you by Aura Frames. Aura Frame is a great way to mix things up from your standard Mother's Day playbook. Actually, Kate gave people an absolute cheat code because I feel like sometimes being like a dad and getting the right Mother's Day present is like hard. She had a great idea. Get an Aura Frame for your family, and then throughout the years, dads take notes. Take candid pictures of mom with baby because they don't get a whole lot of those. And then next year on Mother's Day, or this year, if you have pictures like that, surprise her with all of the pictures already uploaded so she doesn't have to do the work. She wakes up, Sunday mornings here. She's got more pictures of her baby out that you took that she wasn't expecting. You might even get a little bit action from our next sponsor if you do this with Aura Frames, because you could download the Aura Frame app and text the photo straight to the frame. It's super easy. They reached #1 in the App Store on Christmas Day in 2025, and they're probably going to do it again this year. Make Mother's Day special with Aura Frames. It's named the #1 frame by Wirecutter. You could save on all the gifts that moms love by going to auraframes.com. And for a limited time, our listeners can get $25 off their best-selling Carver map frame with the code WONTON. That's Aura Frames, AURA frames.com, with the promo code WONTON. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Make your wife happy by having some super beautiful pictures of her baby this year on Mother's Day with Aura Frame.
And last but not least, Drop a Pin is brought to you by Blue Chew. The future of erectile function is here. Blue Chew Gold is changing the way millions of men are having sex in 2026. The new arousal-boosting formula combines passion and performance into one tablet that dissolves under your tongue for super fast onset. No more waiting for the pill to kick in. No more moments ruined by performance anxiety. Just the results you want when you want them. Most ED meds only focus on blood flow, but Blue Chew Gold goes further by combining 2 ingredients for blood flow with 2 for mental arousal and connection. So you're not just physically ready, you are actually in the mood. This type of innovation is why Blue Chew Gold is the #1 brand in erectile function. The process is simple and all online, so you don't got to have any awkward conversations with a pharmacist. And get started today at bluechew.com and go for gold. Ladies, if you're listening, send your man the link and make him a trophy husband with Blue Chew Gold. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Right now, when you buy 2 months of Blue Chew Gold, you get the 3rd for free with promo code DROP. That's promo code DROP. Visit bluechew.com for more details and more important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast. My first question for you. So this is your second kind of solo travel trip as just a dude who's, trying to soak up some culture. Was the trip to Budapest, was that kind of like a trial run for your wife? She's like, well, first, let's see if you can handle Europe. If you can handle Europe, go ahead. You have the green light on Latin America and South America.
Not really. I feel like I could have told her straight from the jump that I was going to South Sudan and she wouldn't have cared. Like, she's like, basically do whatever you feel like. She doesn't get nervous for me in areas.
Okay, it's your mom who gets really nervous.
My mom was terrified. Yeah, she's scared. If I leave the greater Oak Park area on a weekend, she gets nervous.
Yeah, so even when you mentioned Budapest, she was nervous about that. She was like, "They used to be communist."
Yeah, she was very nervous about Colombia. She was like, "Have you ever heard the news about Colombia? You know what happens down there in Colombia, don't you, Matthew?" And I'm like.
And
I'm aware, yeah.
I mean, in the 1980s to probably a good chunk of the 90s, definitely a top 5 most dangerous country on earth.
Yeah.
But that is no longer the case.
Would you say that's probably the most that we heard about violence in areas because of the Reagan war on drugs? We heard about Colombia and places like that all the time in school.
And then even people that don't really aren't interested in travel or geography, they've all heard of Medellin, probably from the show Entourage. And so everyone when you think of Medellin, you think of cartels, cocaine trafficking, Pablo Escobar, who killed thousands and thousands of people. So it's always had a negative connotation, but I do think in the past 10 years, tourism has really taken off there. And I remember the first time I saw a friend go there, I was very intrigued because the photos were so beautiful. Yeah. And they were just like, and they were like, don't worry about the crime at all. It's very safe now. You got to go.
Yeah. And that's basically kind of how I felt about it. Like when I first arrived and landed there, I'm sure your experience is the same too, because you leave the airport, which is a really nice airport. You leave the airport and you go through this huge tunnel.
Yes.
And it used to be the biggest tunnel in Latin America. Now it's the second largest tunnel in Latin America. But the moment that you pop out of that thing, and it's got to be 4 or 5 miles long. It's pretty long. And the moment that you pop out, you are instantly in the Andes. And it's not like the Andes like you think of in the Patagonia area or snow-capped or anything like that. But the look and the vegetation, it reminded me of like the mountains in Hawaii, like the
Very
look
lush.
of that. Very lush, super thick, where you can imagine that when you're flying over Colombia, you leave Panama and you're flying into Colombia and you're looking out and you see how thick those canopies are. That's when you're like, yeah, I could see that there's indigenous tribes here who have never contacted, because it's so thick. Getting to that place has got to be an absolute nightmare.
Oh, yeah. Now, I arrived at night, and I remember it was just mind-blowing. When we came out of the tunnel, I almost felt like I was playing Rainbow Road in Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Because you just see the walls of the valley littered with all of these lights and just like sparkling, sort of like stars, and you're way up at the top kind of driving into the valley, so you're surrounded by what looks like stars, just looking down at this sea of light. It's a very cool experience.
Yeah, I feel like the thing that I've ended up telling the most people so far about it is that every single inch of the country that you see, there is not a speck of dirt that is not visually interesting. Mm-hmm. Every place you look is visually interesting. So when you pop out of this big tunnel, all of a sudden you see just enormous, almost like not apartments, but like, I don't want to say slums, but poorly built construction all through the valley and up through the side of the mountain that is constructed with brick. And you could tell it's not the best building material in the world.
Yep.
And I'm trying to be as respectful as I can, you know?
Yeah, they look hastily made, kind of like all just put together like a puzzle.
It is the first thing that popped into mind when I saw it. It's like the biggest juxtaposition of a beautiful scenery filled with people who have struggled in the past, for sure. Like, it's a beautiful area with the construction that doesn't match the location.
Yeah, and you're mainly talking about all the villages that are kind of built on these steep valley walls, and then at the bottom of the valley, you've got the downtown where you've got tons of modern buildings, skyscrapers,
and the inside the town really reminded me a lot of Mexico City. How there's a lot of vegetation inside the town where you have like a big metropolitan area, but also there's a lot of greenery within the city too.
That's what I loved most about it when I first arrived, because it's just like, it's not like a concrete jungle.
No.
Even though there is a lot of concrete, there's a lot of buildings, but then interspliced between all that is just lush jungle. Like, you'll see vines, you might have like a river running through, and so like all the parks are beautiful. You can kind of like go from like right downtown to then you're walking through one of these parks where you feel just transported to the jungle.
Right. And there's birds that are flying by that like macaws flew by. It looked like what would be parakeets, and hummingbirds were everywhere. Like it was hummingbird season, I guess. So there's just tons of hummingbirds all around. One morning when I opened up the little balcony to my room, there was like 5 hummingbirds just fluttering about like right there.
Damn.
And it's just so unbelievably colorful. And I think the most frustrating part for me, like trying to get this and capture it as a vlog, it is a city that has soul at all times of the day. You can't go someplace in Medellin without hearing music. Like, music
unless you're
is
there
everywhere.
during COVID when they were like going into lockdown.
Yeah.
But yes, most of the time just filled with life, filled with soul. And they call it the city of eternal spring, because I think the average temp year round is between like 70 and 75, which is just insane, because that is the perfect temp.
The average temperature in the morning there year round is 68 and the average high is 80.
That's perfect.
I mean, it is legitimately perfect weather. It's a little bit humid, like in the raining season.
Yeah.
And coming from here, wintertime, Chicago, down there, I was definitely sweating my fucking dick off a lot. But it was unbelievable. Every aspect about it, I enjoyed. I was really trying to do like a pro-cons list. I didn't have a lot of cons, like, about the area.
Did you like the food?
The food was surprising to me, because you think Latin America, for me, I think spice. You know, a lot of spice goes with Latin American cuisine. Like, whether that be Mexico or even Venezuelan food can be spicy at times. Colombian food wasn't spicy. It was almost perfect for me for vacation, because I have stomach issues from time to time.
Yep.
And I had no worries. Like, the beans I thought were great. They are huge on plantains. The plantains are growing everywhere in the city. Like, people are just grabbing them.
Yeah.
There's fruits that are all in the cities. There's so many different fruits that I tried. Every time I would walk into the hostel, they had like this big bowl that had local fruits inside, and I would just grab one and just see what it was. I had no idea what it would taste like, and so many of them were just absolutely delicious and so flavorful.
Is there something called a bandeja paisa or something like that?
Yes, and that's the main meal, and it comes with like a chorizo sausage. I actually was going to order it because I found some on Uber Eats that looked incredible.
Bandeja paisa. Yeah, and you also get some chicharron.
Yeah,
I do remember just like every morning I would crush, instead of eggs and bacon, eggs and chicharron, which is just bacon on steroids, and it was a delight.
and the bandeja paisa has the Colombian dish includes grilled steak, some rice, some chicharrones that's fried, chorizo, beans, fried eggs, the arpa, I think that's how you would say it, but it's like this little, almost like a thicker tortilla.
Arepa, maybe?
Arepa, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
And avocado and sweet plantain. And listen, I want to apologize to any of the Colombian people that are listening to the show because you've been so interested in, I'm going to butcher pronunciations for fucking everything. And I don't want to. It's not who I want to be as a person, but it is 100% who I am as a person. I can't help it.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I
Yeah.
do. I listen to a lot of like history podcasts, and they always start every podcast being like, I want to apologize in the last episode for mispronouncing this and this and this. And it's like, all right, we get the point. I don't care that you absolutely butchered it.
Yeah.
It's okay. You're trying.
But the food was delicious. I thought that you could tell that they're like, so we design our meals a lot of times because you're going to be, a lot of folks work. Like they are working
as they
out.
do everywhere.
Right, but like
Yeah.
a lot of working outside, a lot of working in the fields, harvesting. There was a bunch of, like, if you're, and it makes total sense. If you are somebody that works on a coffee farm, for instance, in Colombia, you're going up 4,500 feet in elevation. You're going up super high. You're not going to come back down all the time for a midday meal.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you'll have one huge meal that should last you until dinner time.
Yes.
So they have this enormous breakfast that they will eat this for breakfast or lunch. So like a 10 o'clock meal, they'll eat it and it'll be huge and it's big enough to last them until the evening time.
So you mentioned that you were staying at a hostel. We got to hear about that. I assume you were the oldest guy there?
Oh, yeah. So
Okay.
before I went, I told you that I went on ChatGPT and I was like, I'm 43 years old, going to shoot content, going to stay in Colombia. What's the best hostel for a person my age? And it gave me like a list, and I picked one of them, and the one that I picked was Los Patios. And it is, or Los Patio is what it would look like in.
Okay, yes. Los Patios.
But it was awesome, dude. Like I think I picked the perfect place for something like this because, one, it was in a great area of town. It was in the Manila area of Medellin, which was great. Like there was plenty of restaurants around. There was, like, when I was tired at the end of the day, there was some food that I was used to if I didn't want to eat nothing but Colombian cuisine all the time. Like Medellin was having their hamburger competition, like cheeseburger competition. They have like across the whole city, one of their young famous chefs started this new tradition for they will have a cheeseburger competition, and so many different restaurants across town will take their cheeseburgers, and they use a lot of Argentine beef there. And I kid you not, I had the best cheeseburger I've ever had in my life in Medellin.
I believe you.
It was like a medium rare, perfect medium rare on a pretzel bun. It was topped with chicharrone and that super like gooey Colombian cheese on top. And it had a little bit of a coleslaw on it that was made with fresh papaya, mango, and pineapple slaw that went with it. And then like a chile, like salsa almost that went on it too. Dude, it was so good. It was so good that I ate the burger, ate the fries, and the lady came back and was like, "Can I get you anything else?" I was like, "I'd like to run it back and order the same exact thing right now."
I mean, I fully believe you. I think all my best burgers have been abroad too. Paris makes the best smash burgers in the world, and Turkey makes this burger. I'm looking it up. I can't believe they don't do this in the U.S. First they grill the burger, and then they put all the ingredients in this dough. They wrap it up, and then they bake it. So it's kind of almost like a Hot Pocket.
Like a calzone?
It's like a calzone, but in burger form. We're going to make one with Chef Donnie, I think, because I sent him the recipe. But yeah, it's called a Kapali burger.
Ooh.
Kapali.
Oh, yeah, that looks great. That looks almost like a, what's that thing when they cook the steak in it? And Chef?
Oh, beef Wellington?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the dough doesn't taste like it's not like a flaky beef Wellington dough. It just like tastes like incredible bread. I honestly want to just start selling them in the US, so I don't want too many people to find out about it. But yeah, that's my get rich quick scheme, is to open a Kapali burger shop, ghost kitchen, and just slang those.
I bet that would do well, like a grab and go type of place like that.
Yeah, and it just like,
because it looks like it'd be easier to eat than a regular burger in a car.
way easier to eat, and it just, everything stays so moist and juicy baked inside the bun. Yeah, it was great. But your Colombian burger sounded fantastic as well. And you're staying at the hostel, and were like the people there very friendly? Were there a lot of young people, like just?
Yeah, there was a lot of young people there. But the hostel experience for me was fantastic, and I liked the fact that there was tours that they offered. And there wasn't a whole lot of people. Maybe it's because I did most of the things during the week, but there was no tours that had more than like 3 or 4 people that would go on it, so it was small. And if you wanted to go by yourself, like when I went to Comuna 13, which we'll talk about in a little bit, I was the only person. It was me and like the tour guide that went together. And I thought that was great. But they made it super easy. You get to that place, and if you're going to Medellin, I highly recommend Los Patios, because they have private rooms, they have dorm rooms. You can stay as cheap as like $12 a night, or you can pay for the full room. Like you have a queen size bed, full bath, and everything like that. And that was like 50 something a night.
Okay.
And that's what I did. I got the nicer side. I was like, I'm not going to be the old guy and dorming with people.
Yeah, the old guy in the like 10-bed dorm would be a weird look.
Yeah. But you get there, they sign in, like you have WhatsApp, and they send you every single day. You get like a list of 8 different offerings that this hostel would have for you to pick from, and what you can do. And everything was so unbelievably affordable. Like I went paragliding over the city, and you take, so that was the first day. I went out, and it's like a 45-minute, hour-long drive across the city, which I really enjoy. Like when I go to a new place, I like driving, I like walking, because I feel like you get like a greater grasp of the city. Seeing it from the road, seeing different neighborhoods. Like you could see kids that were waiting in line for school, like for their school bus.
Yes.
And how even around school buses, the fruit culture is huge. Well, they'll have like food trucks or food carts that have fresh fruit for the kids to come in. And I was like, how much are those kids paying? He's like the American equivalent of like 30 cents, like nothing for any of this stuff. And you're going up into the mountains and seeing all the different countryside, and then taking off and paragliding over the city of Medellin was phenomenal.
Great way to see it.
Yeah.
And was that your first time paragliding?
First time that wasn't over water. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's like the only place where I've done it too.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is such a cool way to see the city.
Yeah, and it was only like that for me to do that. It was like the transportation there, the actual flying aspect, and then going back, and then there's a meal along the way too, where I had a beer, and maybe the top oversight beer I've had in a long time, of like the look while you're drinking a beer after you've done something cool, and that was only like $50.
The entire experience.
Like transportation there and back.
That paragliding there is so cool, because as you're going over these little villages, you just like see people going about their day, but you just get like a bird's eye view of everything.
And the guys there, I asked the dude who was the pilot of the parachute that I was on, I was like, how long have you been doing this? He was like, I've done this for 12 hours a day for 20 years. So as soon as somebody says that, you're like totally at ease. Like, this guy's done this a million times, and we're pretty high. I mean, you're pretty high up. And he goes, are you nervous about flying high? And I was like, no. And he pulls his arm down, and we just shoot like straight up into the air so fast.
That's sick.
And it almost felt like you had zero gravity, because how fast you were moving up.
Oh,
where
yeah.
you're just like floating.
Yep.
It was exhilarating, and the sights and sounds and smells that because people are still cooking, like they're cooking the beef on the side, they're cooking chicken, they're cooking like while they're farming all around you. So you're getting a little bit of every sense while you're there.
I don't know if I've asked you this in the past. Did you ever have to parachute when you were in the Marines?
Yeah, once. Yeah, I didn't do it a lot, but I've done more like static stuff in helicopters, jumping out of helicopters, and
when you did parachute, were you attached to someone, or did you ever have to do a solo jump?
I did it attached. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're like a paratrooper, that's when they make you do the really extreme stuff.
Yeah, I was a dog guy, so it would be a really drastic situation if
they got a parachute in the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we mentioned that Medellin is in the middle of this valley, and that there's all these like villages on the, the really steep walls of the valley. And I think one of the coolest things about the city is what they've done with public transportation. Because for like hundreds of years, those villages up in the mountains were just completely separated from the downtown areas. So you had all the rich people living downtown, and then just all the poorest people in the city living up on the mountainside. But then they started creating these cable cars to like help connect these villages to the rest of the city. And it's done wonders for a lot of them. Like,
yeah,
I remember talking to someone, they said before this cable car was built, like it would take her close to 2 hours just to get downtown for her job. And then they created a cable car, and she was like, I can commute to the city center in 15 minutes now.
Yeah.
And so it's helped like connect these villages to the rest of the city. And that's like brought a lot of economic growth to all of them.
And it's given them greater access for goods too, because they use that as like transporting cargo from time to time.
Oh, for sure.
Well. So like the things that they can do because of the investments that Colombia has made is pretty great. Like the city's, everyone that I've talked to there is saying that the city gets better and better year by year.
Yep. And I think like that cable car system got Medellin awarded like the most innovative city in the world. It was in the top 5 a few years back, just because of they have great public transit across the board. They kind of have this elevated subway system when you're down on the valley floor, and then they got the cable cars to connect everying else.
That place, one, because the guide that I was with, CJ, shout out CJ, Sam will put his WhatsApp link in the bottom. So if you go and you need a tour guide, this guy was awesome, dude. Like, he so smart, so articulate, was able to give like unbelievable amounts of history. Like when I would be like, can we go a little bit deeper than that? He's like, how deep you want to go? You want dates? You want whatever? He knows like everything. He's been doing this for 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
Every day, twice a day, 3 times a day, tours. So he know all kinds of stuff. But when we were on that, they started that subway system, I believe he said in 1991 or 1992. And they made a promise to the city, and it was one of the promises whenever the cartels and the government were having big issues. The people said that this is one of the things that they needed in order to move away from that kind of lifestyle was better transportation, so that they can have better jobs and not have to work like they were, the types of work that they were doing.
Yeah.
And they built one of the best subway systems and the best metro systems in the world in like 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, now I'd say like most countries will have a nicer subway than New York, just because New York was built so long ago. It's so much harder to like fix an old system or to modernize an old system than just to build a new one from scratch.
Yeah, but also that gives New York a big cop out. Hungary's is the oldest one in Europe, and theirs
it's still
is
pretty
great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
but it's completely clean. But a lot of that is because the cops there, they are not fucking around, man. Like, if they suspect you, like the CJ was telling me, if you're a dude with tattoos and you look like nefarious at all, they're snatching your ass up and throwing you against the wall, checking you for guns, checking you for drugs. Like, the subway is not a place you want to be. So it's one of the safest spots that you could be in the city is on their public transport, because of the amount of security that they have. You're not allowed to eat. You're not allowed to smoke. You're not allowed to like talk loud. You're not allowed to have music. You're not allowed to do any of the subway dancing, because they want everybody to feel completely safe when they ride this system.
It wasn't always like that, though.
No, definitely
There
not.
was a time when the police were definitely losing the war to the cartels.
For sure there was.
And Pablo Escobar had that system called plata or ploma, which means silver or lead, which means like I can either pay you off to ignore what I'm doing, or I can put a bullet in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why when I did the Pablo tour, one of the guys was a former cop that was kind of on the cartel beat, and he showed me a photo. It was him and all of his cop friends he used to work with, and he was like, everyone in this photo is dead except for 3 of us. How many of these people died?
149.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah, had all been killed by the cartel.
And when I was there, like even before I went, because we did, actually I was looking at our YouTube analytics, and our top 3 countries that we have as far as viewers regular is the United States, Canada, and Colombia. Our top viewers over the last month on our YouTube channel.
Oh, shout out our Colombian fans.
Yeah. So when I would talk about it, several would message me like, please don't make it about Pablo. And so I didn't do any content around Pablo Escobar at all.
I think that's smart.
And one of the guides there that I was talking to at the hostel, he was saying that they kind of view it in a similar vein that if you came to the United States and everybody that came to the United States made a vlog, they did it in this way that almost glorified Osama bin Laden's impact on the United States, where Osama is not obviously an American citizen, but the destruction, and I understand the correlation there, like the destruction and what happened because of him and how that impacted that society. Pablo's was worse for Colombia for a larger period of people, for a larger time period for people than bin Laden's was here.
Yeah.
I feel like
that's a tough comparison because like bin Laden like never lived in America, but maybe it's like if you came to America and you just did a plantation tours and like you only went to like former slave plantations and just focused on slavery or something.
Yeah.
Maybe it'd be similar to that. I don't think it's a large portion of the population. There are like some people there that like I think still haven't demonized Pablo just because he did give a lot of his money to the poor. Like he would like build some neighborhoods. There's a Barrio Escobar or something, which is just like a neighborhood that he kind of like built or invested in for the poor. When he opened up this like giant theme park a couple hours outside the city, he was like all Colombians and the lower class can go for free. So some people see him maybe as a little bit of like a Robin Hood.
I think that's a very, very small percentage.
Yeah, I don't think that's the general consensus because especially they're like, okay, yeah, he was giving back to the poor, but our country and our city was like a very dangerous, scary, horrible place to live at that point. And now look at it without the cartels. So yeah, right. I think the vast majority of people are like, I don't care if he was giving back to the poor. For everyone now, this is a much better place to live. Yeah,
you do a couple good things doesn't negate the litany of bad shit that he caused those people for sure. Mm-hmm. But it was interesting to see like all the different areas there.
Yeah, so yeah, we were talking about all those villages that got connected by cable car. Comuna 13 was one of those villages, and that's probably like the most shining example of a success story. Honestly, it might be one of the biggest successes in like urban transformation in the world.
I mean, because it went from arguably the most dangerous neighborhood in the world of everything that happened. And it wasn't just it was a combination of issues too. It wasn't just the fact that there was a lot of narcotics and a lot of cartel activity and organized crime, but also they were having that, and it was the target of, it had the largest African population in Colombia as well, concentration. At that point, there was 40% of Comuna 13 was black Colombians, and they were treated poorly in Colombia as well. And so you had all these different groups that were trying to control this area. And when you had the government was trying to get on the side, like kind of work in cahoots with some of the bad guys and root out some of the bad guys, and they had narcs that were going in. But it was sort of like what happened in El Salvador, where you would just point your neighbor out if you didn't like them. Like you could just point and next thing you know, they're dead.
Yeah. Yeah. So like when they finally cleaned it up, it was called Project Orion. Mm-hmm. I looked that up, and that it was almost like a mini little war, because like the military, or at least like the heavy duty like SWAT teams, came in and were just battling all of these like paramilitary groups, rebel groups, cartel groups, and like not to sugarcoat that, because that got really violent, and I'm sure a lot of civilians were caught in the crossfire of that. That was definitely not a good time if you were living in Comuna 13, but it did, in the long run, it got rid of like the majority of criminal elements that were in that neighborhood.
Dude, when I was hearing about some of the details of what they would do at those times, for instance, if somebody got caught being like a bad guy and they were doing different bad guy shit, the government would have them come out and they would execute each other in the streets. Like you would have a 13-year-old that was responsible for killing like a 16-year-old kid. Like they would do point blank range executions in the street.
Wait, but they would like make the locals like kill whoever was like doing criminal activities?
Yes.
Damn.
And there was these suspected mass graves that they never found, but the government had all these, they were doing like rock quarries. And so they think that they just stuck hundreds of bodies in these rock quarries to never be found again. And a lot of those big murals are about like what you're talking about, the Operation Orion.
Yeah.
Like where they had Mother Earth is watching Comuna 13 from above and she is crying. We'll include some of the pictures of what it actually looks like. But the artist there and the renderings, once it was explained to me what I was actually seeing, because you look around and you're like, oh, this is just beautiful graffiti, everywhere, like the art and how they're using hip hop, kind of like New York did when New York had its comeback and Brooklyn had its comeback, where they used hip hop as inspiration. They did that in Comuna 13 as well.
Yeah.
But a lot of the graffiti has such rich meaning, and the imagery, once it's explained to you, like at first, because I walked through it without the tour guide, and then I went back with the tour guide. And I was like, oh my God, once he was explaining, because I just was like, oh, that's cool, that looks cool, that's cool. And then he was explaining the intricacies of the meanings of different little aspects of each one of these murals and how it starts at one point and it continues on and it tells like the story of the place. It's really a remarkable neighborhood to go to.
Yeah.
And one of my concerns about it was it's expensive. Like when you get there and you're dropped off at the beginning of it, or you take the subway, you get there and you're looking around and you're like, dude, there's fucking hat stands and shirt stands. They're selling elephant ears and shit out here. Like,
I mean, it's become very touristy. But...
Yes. And you're like, how in the world is all of this affordable for people who still live here? Because it's still like, for lack of a better, like the projects essentially, like it's people who make minimum wage or less that are living in this area. I'm like, how are they doing this? And CJ told me, he's like, dude, this is just like a 2-block area in this huge Comuna 13 neighborhood.
Yeah.
And the actual neighborhood is massive, but they just have a tiny little 2-avenue block that tourists come see because it supports the neighborhood. People.
Yeah, I'd like to think a lot of the tourism money goes back to the community now.
It does.
And like they'll have like a bunch of street performances there all the time now, which is great. You'll see people dancing, rapping. Yep. I hopped on the mic and dropped a few bars when I was there.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
I've been redeemed for the time being. I thought I'd come for a couple weekends. I met some cool human beings. Like my man Blow Master. I'll be sightseeing.
We'll have to include that and me getting my dance on out there.
Yeah.
I actually looked at back. I watched the dancing video back. Not as bad as I felt when I was actually doing it.
No, I thought you looked fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they get a lot of that tourism money and like it goes towards like helping the area develop. It would almost be like if they somehow turned O Block in Chicago into like one of the more popular tourist destinations in the city. Like
that's very
yeah. I mean, I don't
or Skid Row in LA.
Yeah, I don't see that happening, but it somehow has worked there because they still haven't like lost their identity, and that's what like it's become a street culture capital. So like the graffiti and the murals, all the dancing, all the rapping, all the artwork, like there's a bunch of you can walk in and just see all these amazing paintings that were just made by local artists.
You can commission them, they'll paint it right there. Like there's the talent level of people there is off the charts.
Yeah. And so I think a lot of people in the neighborhood now are making enough money from tourists that they don't have to resort to a life of crime when the cartels were so prevalent there. And it is like, yeah, it's a cool neighborhood. The government, once they rooted out all the criminal elements, which as we talked about was a brutal time in their history, then they started to rebuild it. So they built a lot of escalators to like, because it's built on a mountainside, just to like
steep, too.
Yeah, they're steep. There's like slides now and stuff.
I thought I had torn my ACL on one of them.
Going down one of the slides, yeah.
Yeah.
And it seems like the government did invest a lot into the neighborhood. Like they built a bunch of libraries and schools, little like public parks there, the metro cable system that like helped connect it to the rest of the neighborhood. So all of those investments, I think, like really helped it turn a page as well.
Big time. And you could tell that the people there were just really happy and the energy was off the charts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They've got, it's also because it's on a mountainside, you get like great views too, like of the rest of the city.
I can't think of an ugly view in the whole country that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Like every place you look is just beautiful all across the whole place.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say it's like, oh, it's like in America when a poor neighborhood becomes gentrified, because no, it's the same people that like had been living there for a while. They're still living there. They're just now like making a lot more money off of tourism.
Yeah, and their finances and economy is interesting. Like when I was there was a bunch of news going on around how their minimum their weekly work requirements used to be 46 hours and it's going down to 42 hours and the minimum wage is the same. And they do a lot of salaries based on minimum wage. So you have like a lot of people that make essentially the same amount of money.
Okay.
And they are working less and getting more for it. Like the new president wants them to have a better work-life balance in Colombia because he feels like that will make the people happier. And when people are happier, they work better. Which
yes.
I could see. That's totally true.
Oh, I could see. Yeah.
So their full-time week is 42 hours now.
I remember like a month after I left Colombia last time, crazy riots broke out in Medellin, but I think those were more related to COVID because like people weren't able to work because of COVID, but then they also weren't being paid. Mm-hmm. And the people were like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do? Like I'm running out of money and you're saying I'm not allowed to work.
Yeah.
So I think that led to riots, but
we had that issue here.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. I think that's what that was about.
The Colombian money system was confusing to me. I'm such not a math guy that foreign currency, when it's cash, it's so frustrating to me because I have no idea how much I'm paying for shit.
I mean, it definitely varies by country. When I was in Turkey, I was there for 10 days. I never got a good grasp because it was not like it's kind of like a weird conversion. In China, I always figured it out just like 100 RMB in China was around 15 USD, at least when I was there. But no, it can get very confusing. It takes a while. That's why you just got to pretend like it's fake money. And
it is. Once it's cash in a foreign country, I don't care about it.
Yeah.
So I went to the coffee farm. And again, this place was like an hour and a half outside of Medellin. And you're going through the beautiful mountainscape. Every single mile that you're driving is beautiful. And we get there and the guy's like, all right, you need to pay. It's 230,000 pesos or something like that, which was like $70 for the day. And it was an all day thing. And so I'm like trying to count it out. And I have the 100,000 CN note from Colombia. And I'm like counting it out. And I'm forgetting that those are 100,000, not 100. Yeah. So I'm like counting. I'm like, shit, I don't have enough. And the driver's like, I see his eyes like huge, like with the amount of money that I'm counting. He's like, no. What are you doing? He's like, only 2. And he like pulls 2. He's like this. And he was like, you were about to give like $1,100 to do Colombian coffee tour. It was like, dude, that's like 3 months of wages here.
Yep. You were about to really fuck up their economy. You're about to ruin it for all future tourists.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is, dude, when we were in Turkey, this is like crazy. I was like, this is going to be so easy because Corey's coming along. He's going to have the company card. No one's really going to have to like use cash that much. We'll just use the card everywhere. For something, we were going out to restaurants and traveling with a huge group of people, but we offered to buy all the stoolies a few meals. They would come out with the credit card machine, and then we'd find out the credit card machine could only charge about like $140 per transaction. And we had one big meal that was close to like $3,000. And so they were just like, no, we can't handle a transaction that big. So you're just gonna have to run your card like 22 times. And that happened a lot. And then there was a time where I had a $200 bill. I was like, okay, this I'll just be able to tap the card. They weren't even able to run $200 in one transaction. I don't know, it's because of their like inflation has been bad, but I feel like you need to figure out ways to, I understand if they like aren't going to have change for a large amount of money, but we're trying to give you money. You got to have a way to accept that money, which is like very hard to just pay people.
Yeah. And going through, when you're dealing with foreign currency that you're not used to, I wish that the ATMs in foreign countries, or really anywhere, whenever you're pulling it up, it shows you how much equivalent to US dollar it is. Because like mine, like the first thing that pops up is 1 million Colombian pesos. And at the airport, I have no idea. So I'm like, oh, sure, fucking 1 million pesos, let's do it. And then I don't know how much money it is until I look at my bank statement after I'm done. And I'm like, oh, that was $700.
Okay. So, and I do know when you use a foreign ATM, you're not supposed to accept the conversion that they offer. Just have your bank do the conversion.
Yeah.
And they'll give you a much better rate.
Yep. That's a great tip for people that don't travel. I didn't know that until decently recently. So what he's saying is if you're going to get on the ATM and you're pulling out money, on the next pop-up screen will say, this is the conversion rate that we're offering you now. And a lot of times ATMs or bank will have that at like 9 to 11 to 12, 13, sometimes 14% of conversion rate. You hit decline and then it's an automatic currency exchange at the correct rate instead of giving the bank more money for free.
So it's kind of like instead of having the ATM do the conversion for you, well, they'll skim a lot off the top. Just have your bank do the conversion.
Yeah, where you feel like if you hit decline, it's going to be the end of the transaction typically is what that feels like. But it's not that case on the ATM. You hit decline and then you get the normal currency exchange rate.
Yes, always do that. I did not know that when I was first living in Italy, and probably every time I went to an ATM was just losing $20.
Yeah, and that's significant when you're if you're pulling out $700 like I did, 10% that's $70.
Yes, yep. So little travel hack from the folks at Drop a Pin.
Yeah.
I did see that you did a day trip outside Colombia to the giant rock in Guatapé.
Yeah,
I loved that area. I love the rock. I also got to go on a boat on the lake for a bit. And like,
same.
I think I was a little high at the time, and I was just loving life. And I was like, when I get married, I'm having my bachelor party here, and all you guys can come. And then when I did get married, like maybe 2 years later, I had a bunch of people in my DMs being like, when's the bachelor party at Lake Guatapé in Colombia? Everybody was asking me, but I never got around to it.
So do you know why that town was formed?
So was the lake formed by like a dam and then the town formed around the dam? I don't know.
So Colombia was having a lot of power issues and supplying enough power to their big cities like Bogota, Medellin, Cartagena, Cali. And so what they did is they built this. Engineers found the perfect spot to dam. There's 4 different rivers that go into that place. And they built one of the biggest hydroelectro dams in the world at the time. And still, it's so good. Like their power dam is so good that dam alone, 5% of the output is enough to power almost the entirety of Colombia. and they have 2 of those dams now, 2 of those huge type of dam areas. And so they sell power to Brazil, Venezuela, Panama, and Peru and Ecuador. So to surrounding areas, they'll sell some of their hydroelectric power. They had rich folks that came in, like Pablo was one of them, that bought big chunks of property on this, and it became like this huge tourist town because in order to build the dam, they had to displace people. And in order for the people to sign on and agree to that, they said that you have to do it and you have to build a full town for everybody in a time period of 1 year. And so Colombia got all their shit together and they knocked it out. And they built this whole region in like a year and a half with fresh houses, fresh schools, libraries, hospitals. And it was better infrastructure than other places around. And now it's become like one of the biggest tourist spots in the country where people go. Like that's where the Colombian national team soccer players' house is at.
Oh, you see some beautiful mansions along the lake there.
That Colombian soccer player goalie, his house is insane.
Yes, I remember I like went online just like looking at Lake Guatape real estate after I visited.
What was that?
I saw some spots.
Yeah.
I saw some spots that seemed a little reasonable.
Dude,
I
mean,
mean,
we talked about it. Drop a penthouse.
Yeah, like if only there was a direct flight from Chicago to Medellin, it would be like a no-brainer for me.
There is one from Chicago to Bogota.
Yes, there is. Now, me or you, nor you have been to Bogota. I've heard that Bogota is definitely more like temperate climate. Like I think in the winter, Bogota gets cold. Like they may even have snow and stuff some days.
I heard a lot of people say that Bogota is like a cooler city too. Not just temperature, but like that people liked it better. I don't know. Like I would go back to Colombia for sure.
I think.
But Guatape,
I would say Bogota is probably the most like modern city. I don't know. And that like it's got some areas that feel very European. But yeah, so Guatape though, it's a beautiful lake and it's famous for that rock that everybody walks up to the top. Yeah, El Pino. Not the largest rock in the world though, right?
No, there's 2 in Australia that are bigger.
Okay, one's like Ayers Rock and
one is Baraka or something.
Okay.
Some shit, I forget. But yeah, that I saw the pictures, and it's one of the first things that you see on most spots when you go to Medellin. Even though that Guatape is about 2.5 hour drive from Medellin.
I thought it was more like 90 minutes.
It wasn't for us.
Okay.
It was at least 2 hours. But getting there was another beautiful drive, and we stopped at some cool spots, had like a really local breakfast at one joint. The eggs there are creamier. I don't know if it's because they're not like mass produced, but every egg that I had was so rich.
I would say that about like almost all eggs I have outside the U.S. are going to be a lot richer.
Yeah.
And the avocados there are enormous. Like you can probably find some that are like the size of your head.
Yeah.
That rock, it's a fun little walk up. Tough. How did you handle it?
Oh, dude, I was broke off. I think in my video I said you need to take the title of Marine away from me. I no longer deserve it. I'm just such an out of shape piece of shit.
Yeah.
I think living here where there's no elevation, you're like at sea level essentially in Chicago, and then going higher elevation and then going up stairs, and there's 675 steps that to the top of it, and no 2 steps are alike. I think that's one thing. If you are in a wheelchair and you are injured in any way, Medellin is not a place for you. There is no sidewalks like that are good. Like every sidewalk, you're like up and down all the time. There's like big drop-offs, little drop-offs. There's nothing flat anywhere in the whole country. Yeah. And like even going up that rock, like going up the steps, all 675 of them, no 2 are exactly the same size. So you can't get into like a rhythm walking up and down. Mm-hmm. And it was hot when I was going up.
But up at the top, they serve like mango smoothies or something like that.
I had a lemonade de coco up there with a little bit of rum added in.
Let's go.
And that was beautiful. But once you do get to the top, that view is incredible.
Oh, yeah. Just seeing and you can kind of see how the lake formed because it's not a natural lake. It's man-made, so you can like tell what used to be a valley and how it all filled up with water.
People ripping jet skis in there, ripping different boats.
I do have to disavow something I did at the top of that rock. I was there with Chef Donnie, and we get to the top of the rock, and I saw like the largest ass I've ever seen in my life. Like just one of the largest Colombian booties these eyes have ever seen. And I told Chef Donnie to grab a shot of it for the vlog, and then Chef Donnie got caught just like filming this girl's ass, and then she sees Chef Donnie, and instead of being like, "Oh, you fucking perv," she actually just like started to shake it for the camera.
Oh, you're good.
And she would know, so she was perfectly fine with it, but I'm sure a lot of other people would not be okay with that. So never try to just grab a shot of some lady's ass, no matter how big it is.
Clip that.
Yeah. I will disavow. Never try to just, it's not worth invading someone's privacy for a vlog.
That's exactly right.
But,
I support that.
If you do want to see the ass, though, you can go watch that vlog.
Yeah, we'll clip that too. But yeah, coming down though, like going up is one thing. Always underrated after a hard hike or a hard little physical adventure is the come down. Because your legs are already a little wobbly, more so than normal. And then going down super steep stairs on the way down, I was like laboring down. I was probably down 500 steps or so after going to the top, feeling good, got like 175 left. Then this little tiny Japanese woman, no chance she was 5 foot tall, flies past me. Like she had to have been 67 years old and is just cruising down. And then by the time I'm getting down to the bottom, she's like halfway back up again. And
was she doing laps or something?
Yes. There's a guy there that was like, she's here every day. Like this is her workout. Because it's like $2.50 to go. Yeah. And she just flies up and down the stairs as her exercise.
I mean, as a guy around our ages, going down is so much harder these days. I mean, when we were doing peaking in British Columbia, we had a really rough hike up, but everyone made it, and the hike down was just 13 kilometers just down, and by the end of it, like everybody was just in shambles
because you're chopping your steps and your
knees are just slowly hurting. Breaking down, your shins, like everything. It's I would say watch out for the way down, because it was like we almost didn't make it. Like we almost had to get a helicopter.
But one of the other cool aspects about staying in a hostel for me was like meeting different people. I met this woman that was from Bosnia, and doing the Every Country in the World series has been so good because I feel like I know stuff about so many places. You have a talking point, yeah. And she was like, "Oh, I'm from Bosnia." I was like, "Oh, do you know about the bridge where people go and they'll jump off during a festival?" And she's like, "How do you know about that?" Like, no one in America knows about that.
Yes.
And so she starts telling me about that, and then I think if you know something about a smaller country, I think people are more willing to open up and tell you stuff that maybe you don't know. And
a lot of people outside the U.S. assume if you're an American, you only care about America. So when you can just pull out a random fact about their country, they're like, "Oh, wow, you guys actually do kind of care about the outside world."
Yeah. And so she was like, "What else do you know about Bosnia?" And I was like, "Well, I know that it's a 3-party state essentially, and you have 3 different presidents that rotate 8 months at a time." And like, I'm going through a lot of the stuff that I remembered from the video.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Do you know why that is?" And she starts going into her story and telling me that she was like 7 years old during the Bosnian War, and she lived in Sarajevo. She was telling about how neighbor would pull guns on neighbors and like put them in your face and like steal stuff from you and set your house on fire to like get. And she was telling me all this horrific history. And I think if I didn't know any of that, she wouldn't have done just out of the blue.
No.
And so hearing some stories like that, I think that's the biggest reason why you travel, except for like what you see with your own eyes. But you don't get that kind of culture just like sitting around your neighborhood. Like you're hearing like struggles from other people, like hearing like
you also don't get that experience if you're just staying at a nice hotel in Colombia. I don't know if you're gonna like meet a lady from Bosnia and spark up a conversation,
right? Or like talk to people like CJ, the tour guide, who was telling me ins and outs of the neighborhood that I'll that I can't regurgitate, but I do remember just being completely blown away. Like I think it's called the White Sheet War. Look that up, Sam. White Sheet War, Comuna 13, where people there were waving white sheets to symbolize that they were white sheet or white flag movement.
The white sheet movement.
So it says that it's the defining symbol of the civilian resistance during the conflicts of the early 2000s, particularly during the brutal Operation Orion in October of 2002. Residents, led by women, hung huge white sheets and handkerchiefs from their window to demand a ceasefire among guerrilla forces, paramilitary. And they said that CJ was telling me that they had classes of kindergartners that would come out and they would have their white blankets, and that's what they would sleep with at the time. And when they were done, that they would go down the stairs and they would show their white blankets and show that they were peaceful and that the whole neighborhood was tired of fighting. And when you're there and you see what that would look like, and you could picture that and picture the bloodshed of children dying and children executing children, I feel like it gives you a greater sense of sympathy than you could ever get just from hearing like a podcast or reading about it.
Yeah.
Like the history that I felt from her talking about Bosnia, you could almost see like the movie playing in her eyes of how she felt about that conflict, and how proud she was of where Bosnia was and how it is now, and like the differences there.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really cool experience. I like the hostel aspect just for that too, speaking to people and hearing different stories.
Yeah. No, I think travel's not all about like the place where you're going. It's also just meeting fellow travelers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, those have been some of my best experiences. It's just like meeting people from all different parts of the globe that are also just like doing the same thing that I'm doing, just traveling, wanting to see more of the planet.
Right. And I think that talking to people, you realize how small the world is. Like when I was heading to Guatape, we were sitting down eating. We stopped at like this restaurant to get breakfast, and I was talking to this. Sitting by me was an Irish woman and her sister. They were both from Cork, and then there was another dude. I was like, "Oh, where are you from?" And he was like, "I'm from Canada." I was like, "Where at in Canada?" He's like, "Calgary." I'm like, "Where at in Calgary?" And he almost looked at me like, why the fuck does it matter we're at in Calgary?
Yeah.
And he was like, it's a small little town in between Calgary and Edmonton. I was like, Red Deer? And he was like, the fuck? Who knows where Red Deer, Alberta, Canada is? He's like, yes, that's where I'm from. And I was like, well, I lived there for 6 weeks when I was in college and did an exchange program with Hutterites. He was like, I never thought that anybody that I was meeting in Colombia would know about Hutterites.
All right, let's go.
So we started bullshitting about Red Deer and like the
and
things that
Hutterites are like the Amish of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One other thing when I was in Guatape, which I didn't do, you know how you were saying like a lot of the country is definitely against Pablo Escobar tourism. This is one thing I could definitely see people finding offensive is Pablo Escobar's mansion that he had on the shores of Lake Guatape. It's now in ruins, but tour groups used to just bring a bunch of tourists there for paintball fights. And I think they had just stopped doing it when I was there. I would like to think I wouldn't have done it, but who knows? There's a chance I would have, but it was like a very popular thing. It's like come and have a mock paintball war with your friends in Pablo Escobar's like old cartel mansion on the lake.
Yeah.
Which that's definitely sort of glorifying the violence that he brought to the country.
Oh, for sure. And you're talking about that White House that they turned into like a restaurant after he was originally arrested, that like the groundskeeper turned into, it was like a bar at first.
Yeah.
And then they have tried to make it into like a museum. When we were out on the lake on the tour that you get like a boat ride and you're ripping it around, which is awesome. We went swimming in a couple spots and one of them was right there in front of it.
Yeah.
But they were like, we don't take videos or we don't do any of that stuff.
Yeah. I
was like, cool.
They finally put a kibosh on that.
Yeah. But there was all kinds of spots. It was one of my favorite swimming spots that I've been.
That's why I was like, this has to be where I have my bachelor party. But maybe I can just have my 40th birthday party at that lake.
Yeah.
WD40. I already have a hashtag for it.
Oh, that's good. I like that. Yeah.
It's not bad at all. The other Pablo Escobar spot I went to when I was there was La Catedral, which was Pablo's private prison. When finally he like turned himself into the government, was like, I'm going to turn myself in under these
Conditions?
these conditions. That's the word I'm looking for. And he was like, I get to build my own prison. My own people will be the guards, but don't worry, I'll just like stay there. So he built himself this like mansion on a mountain and was like, okay, I'm just going to post up in prison. Where's my phone? I'll take a look at like, it had a soccer field, a bar and nightclub style area, a jacuzzi, panoramic views over Medellin. And yeah, he was just posted up there in prison for a while. But then it came out that he was like still killing some people from that prison. Like they would kind of kidnap some of his rivals, bring them to the prison, interrogate them and kill them. And when the government found out about that, they're like, all right, this arrangement isn't working. And then when they raided his prison to put him in a real prison, he somehow was able to sneak out the back and get away. And that's when there was just a massive manhunt for him around the country, and he was eventually found on a rooftop and shot.
El Chapo did the same kind of thing.
That was kind of like his last hurrah. But yeah, there's all these crazy rumors about him when he was in that prison that like Maradona, who's one of the most famous soccer players of all time, that he like invited Maradona to come hang out with him and play soccer with him. And like the other rumors that he like saw some supermodel on TV, maybe she was a newscaster, and was like, I like her. I want her. And then she was just like,
oh yeah,
she was just like forced to fly to his prison.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that chapter is over.
But overall, I think it's a fantastic place. And one of the big things I got asked since I've been back is, did I feel safe? And yes, like there wasn't a spot where I felt like I was completely out of place or anything like that. Or
yeah,
but also it's one of those spots where you have to be smart. You know, like the guy that was from Red Deer, his fucking roommate that he was staying at an Airbnb with, or the guy, they knew each other, and he was staying at Airbnb. The Red Deer kid was staying at the hostel, but he got like poisoned, drugged like that night before, and he was like, my friend was like passed out. I couldn't wake him up this morning. He finally texted me, like, and he thinks that something, his drink was spiked. So like if you do go to like the heavy party areas, like there is still a ton of like sex work and drugs and things like that you just have to be careful about.
Yes.
But that's the case in any major city in the world.
It is.
But definitely like the drugging aspect is a little bit higher. And
there's the drugging aspect, but like hopefully if you're not out there like trying to find a prostitute, then you won't run into that. Like hopefully it's not just like they're looking for a foreigner at a bar and trying to sneak someone in the drink. It's more like if you're talking to a lady trying to like solicit services from her, maybe there's a chance she's going to drug you and rob you.
And let's be honest, fellas, you know what you look like. If she's a Colombian 10 and she's coming up to you and you're a fucking Boise 6, like you got to know that she's not really interested.
That is the case a lot. I'm like, I used to warn people about that in China though, but I've got into a lot of trouble but one time by assuming a girl was a prostitute, because there was a girl coming up to me into like a Chinese club, and she was like being a little too forward, and so she was with this like one like other guy who was standing back and watching this whole thing, and I was like, that's probably the pimp. And then I went and asked him, I was like, so this is a working girl? Like, what's going on here? And he was like, oh my God, you think that? And ran over to her and was like, this guy thinks you're a prostitute. And then she was like, fuck you, you piece of shit. And everyone, like her and all her friends just started to yell at me. So,
but in reality, that's an insult on you. Like you're insulting yourself.
Yeah.
Like there's no way this attractive woman is hitting on me. I'm an uggo.
And then when Frances came to visit me in China, I was like, if any girl's like a little too forward and she's trying to take you home, just maybe check somehow just to make sure that after the deed goes down, she's not going to turn around and be like, pay me $200. And so Frances like did go home with a girl, and she was like, I guess Frances was like, well, how the hell am I supposed to ask? And I guess like in the cab, he was like, so do you like me for me? And she was like, I don't know what that means, but yeah, sure. And she was not a prostitute.
Oh, good for Frances.
Yeah.
Crushed it.
Good for Frances. But yeah, just like be careful. I've heard that Tinder there can be like a hot spot for like you match with this like beautiful Colombian girl on Tinder and you show up at the meeting spot and people are waiting for you. But in Medellin, I had zero problems. I did feel like Cartagena was a little seedier. So when I was there, I was not in a hostel. I was in an Airbnb in this huge tower that maybe you saw. Can you look up the building? It's called Energy Living 1202.
I think I know what building you're talking about.
Yeah. Now,
Big glass structure.
it's a very cool looking building. I thought I was balling the fuck out, but I think our room was just $150 a night. But
Yeah, that's like right by where the hostel I was staying. Pretty
okay.
close.
Yeah. I do think that's become also like that entire building is pretty much just Airbnbs. So I think it has become a big bachelor party hotspot where there will be people near that building being like, if they see a group of dudes being like, oh, you guys need drugs, you guys need girls. And that that's definitely how you could run into some trouble there.
But they also have a bunch of ivy that grows along the side now, so it looks even cooler.
Yeah, it's a beautiful building. They've got a little like pool up top. Just I feel like you're like riding the elevators there. There's probably gonna be someone trying to solicit you for something. But yeah, they've got like, I think a lot of people will do their bachelor parties in Colombia, and I don't know, I'm sure all the wives think like, oh, you want to do a bachelor party in Colombia, you're just going to be doing cocaine, getting into all sorts of trouble. I think you could have a very wholesome bachelor party there and like, yeah, still go out to a club, have some fun, but it doesn't have to be like a super degenerate thing. I think it'd just be a fun place to go to with your boys.
I feel like it's a city that you can go as wholesome as you wanted to or as depraved as you wanted to, and it's the perfect location for either one.
Yeah, there's a lot of just like nice like outdoors activities like you can do too.
If you want outdoor activities, for sure. Like they got that shit in spades.
Yeah, but then they're like, I think you said you like whatever at your age, whatever happens after 9 p.m. is like not
none of my business.
None of your business. So you weren't going to the clubs. I think I think you could have like a good, I don't know if I'd call it wholesome, but you could have a good safe time going out to the bars and clubs there.
Yeah, like if you went to the bars that are in the area, like by the hostel that I was in, there's plenty of spots that you can go out and have plenty of beers, drinks, like little bars like that. But I'm talking about like the actual,
yeah,
like Club Sammy's going to.
And here's the thing: if you go to Colombia and you're doing zero drugs, you're not trying to get a prostitute, there still is a chance that you're walking home from the club and a cop pulls you over and like searches you trying to find something. Because they're like, they see a foreigner, they're like, if I can find some drugs, I can be like, listen, I'm either taking you to jail or you can pay me $400. And they're just trying to get a bribe. That is probably one thing that would suck, that there's a chance that happens, even if you're not really doing anything to warrant a cop searching you. I don't think it's commonplace, but I do know that's happened to people.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And then my last little interesting tidbit about Medellin is reading up on the history of it. Some people think that like a lot of the first European settlers in that area were crypto Jews. Have you ever heard that term?
Mm-mm.
That was just, that's a term to describe all the Jews in Spain who converted to Catholicism during the Inquisition. Because like during the Spanish Inquisition, they were like, all right, if you're Jewish, you either got to convert, you got to leave the country, or we'll kill you. And so a lot of Jewish people like converted to Catholicism, but would still sometimes practice Judaism behind closed doors. So after the Inquisition, a lot of them were like, I got to leave Spain. And so they kind of moved to the new colonies in South America. And then Medellin was also, it's not on the coast, it's right in the middle of the country. So there's like, if I really want to hide from the Inquisition, this is the place to do it. So I think a lot of them wanted to move there.
Overall, I couldn't recommend it enough. I think my flight down there was like $600 or something like that. My stay in the hostel for the full 7 days was like $600 total. And then I think I spent maybe another $800, but I like went buck wild on stuff. Like, if there was a tour I wanted to do, I didn't really care how much it was going to cost. I just did it. I ordered whatever I wanted to eat. There's no way I spent $1,000. None. Probably like $300-400 probably.
Nice.
So it's very affordable trip. You could do it.
And you had like set dates you wanted to travel. If you weren't really super picky on the dates, it's beautiful weather year round. So I'm sure like sometimes the year you can find a great deal on flights.
Yeah. So now I just got to figure out where I'm going to go next. This is definitely a year of travel for me, which I've really liked. I felt so much more comfortable this time, like the vlog. I can't wait for everybody to see like the stuff that comes out. I felt a lot more comfortable shooting that.
Let's go.
I know I'm going to Amsterdam and Germany and Belgium in June, but I got to figure out what we're going to do. I think we should do an international trip at some point this year. And then I think I'll do one more solo one too.
Maresh told me about a site called points.me where you put in your like dream spots that you want to go, and you can also flag like what points you might have if you do have credit card points. And then anytime a crazy deal goes on sale, it will like let you know like, oh, if you travel to Peru next month, you can get like a flight down there for just like a very small amount of points when normally it's 3 times the cost.
Yeah, I think both of us have said that we're very interested in doing Lima as well. So.
Yeah, very interested in Peru. When I put out a video just ranking the top 5 places I've eaten abroad, and everyone was like, oh, like, how are you going to snub Peru? And I was like, I just snubbed Peru because I've never been to Peru. I've never had a meal there. Maresh is going to Peru during our 4th of July break. So
Machu Picchu?
I assume he would try to go to Machu Picchu, but we should definitely have him on the pod when he's back, and he can let us know how it went.
Yeah. Oh, and another dude that I went was from Bolivia. I showed him the salt flat video. That we did.
You did?
He was
Okay,
like,
nice.
I wouldn't have even got that. What a pool.
Yeah. Bolivia would be a sweet spot to go to as well.
No doubt.
All right. Yeah. I think that was a solid pod. Pinheads, we will see you next week.